That's cooler than the countdown. It's like little dings. This unit is called linear relations. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be graphing things, mainly graphing straight lines. To be able to graph straight lines and then work with equations that are straight lines, so like the math that creates a line, we just need to go back to the basics. We're going to start off with graphing and just graphing points and what a graph is and some definitions and terms I'm going to use that you're going to have to know. All right, we're going to start off with talking about a Cartesian plane. A Cartesian plane is a fancy word for like an X and a Y axis. It's like a coordinate plane, how you describe where something is. And this thing over here, I'm going to circle it in big purple. That's a Cartesian plane. So anytime you've seen somebody do an XY axis, and I usually do mine quick like this. I just go X, Y. That's a Cartesian plane. It's the name for it. On a Cartesian plane, you have two things. You have an X-axis and a Y-axis. Right? X is left to right. It's labeled over here on the side. This is X-axis. It's the line that goes left to right. It's horizontal. The Y-axis is the vertical line. So the Y-axis is this one right here. It goes up and down. The way that it works is that if somebody tells you numbers for X, they're telling you that you started at the center. We call this the origin. And you went left to right that many spots. So if I said X was -2, and we start at the center, go 2 to the left. The way Y works is positive numbers go up, negative numbers go down. So if I said Y is +2, that means you started in the middle and you went up 2. It's like a way of describing where you're going. The important part is that you're always starting at the origin. The origin is this center part right here. Everything's based off of that thing. Positive numbers go right and up. Negative numbers go left and down. If you look, Cartesian plane is broken up into 4 different sections. It's pretty obvious, right? If you just look, you see what 4 sections all split up, 4 little squares. We label them starting in the top right-hand corner. So this is our first quadrant. It's quadrant 1. The reason we refer to that as quadrant 1 is because that's where you have a positive X value. I went to the right of the origin. And a positive Y value. I went up from the origin. That's why we call that quadrant 1. Most of the math that you've probably done on a Cartesian plane, especially in science, would have been in quadrant 1 because it was always positive numbers. You then label the quadrants by going counterclockwise. So that means going to the left and backwards. So this is quadrant 2 over here. If you go down, that's quadrant 3. If you go to the right, that's quadrant 4. So it's counterclockwise starting in the top right. You will need to know the names of those quadrants, especially once you get into higher math, which seems basic. It's like, well, that's really easy, but then you kind of forget about it because it's so easy. And then you'll get a test question in grade 11 and you'll be like, wait, which one's quadrant 2? And it's simple. You start here and you'll counterclockwise. Awesome. When describing where something is on a Cartesian plane, and this is a Cartesian plane, we give you something called coordinates. Coordinates are often written as ordered pairs. An ordered pair is something in a set of brackets where the X number goes first. That means it tells you left or right. And the Y value goes second. That tells you up or down. So for instance, if you look on this Cartesian plane, they've given you a coordinate. They've labeled point P over here. The coordinates for point P is right next to it. It's 5, 8, which means those are your X and your Y values. X tells me how far to the right I went. So I went 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Y value is 8 means I go 8 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's how you get to that spot. X left, right, Y up, down. Did you guys do some of this with RAM last semester? No? You didn't do any graphing in science time? I couldn't remember. A little bit?
Barely any.
Cool. Okay, if I wanted to describe more points on a Cartesian plane, so if I said, for instance, where is point 2, I'm just going to do some random ones, 2, 3, and I wanted to label that somewhere on my graph. I start at the center, at the origin. The numbers tell me left or right, up or down. The first number is left or right, so it's 2. That means I go 2 to the right. 1, 2. I'm now here. The y value is 3. That means I go up 3 from that spot. 1, 2, 3. That is 2, 3. Always start at the origin. I do x first, so I go left or right, and then I do y second, up or down. Let's try another one. So let's try -7, 5. So if someone gives you that ordered pair, the first value tells you left or right. It's your x values. If it's -7, that means it's to the left because it's negative, 7 spots. So looking at this, that means I would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 spots to the left. And then I need to go 5 up because the y value tells me up or down. Positive goes up. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is my coordinate point for -7, 5. Truth. Not bad, right? Do you guys do this last year? Yeah. Some of you are like, I remember that. Some of you are like, I do not remember that.
This was like my favorite unit last year.
Okay, I'll do 2 more. So you can try to draw them on your own. I want you to try to go to -4, -6. And then I want you to try to write out +8, -2. The purple one, -4, -6. The first number is called x. It's telling you left or right. If it's negative, you're going left. All right, so 4 spots to the left. 1, 2. Oh, I want to do purple. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm there. The y value is the second one in an ordered pair. It tells you up or down. If it's negative, it's down. So I'm going down 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is where your point should have been. And that is -4, -6. The last one, I have 8, -2. First number tells you left or right. Since it's positive, I'm going right. You could cheat and go a little bit faster. Right? You're just trying to find 8 on the number line. 8 on this number line, if you're looking, you can count it like I've been counting it. Or you can realize this is 10, this is 5, and kind of figure out which one's 8. So this is 6, 7, that's 8. If I want to do my next value, -2, then it should be easy to just kind of go it's back from 8 and go down 2, 1, 2. So you're right there. Either way, you should have found yourself at that point. Okay, that's fun. Here's my advice for this unit. It's a unit that in chunks will seem pretty easy. Like this might seem pretty basic or simple, but it's a unit that builds on itself all the way up. meaning that you need to be really good at the first thing to be able to be good at the second thing. And then you need to be really good at the first two things to be good at the third thing. Good at the first three things to be good at the fourth thing. And it just builds up into one really challenging. Okay. Examples. That was getting points and then plotting them. We're now going to take points that are already plotted and see if we can write out the values of them or the coordinates of them. So for instance, I know it's kind of tough for you to see on your graph. Is it bad? The printer did some weird lines. I tried to get rid of them for you. Can you see the graph okay? Yeah. I'll definitely point out which ones are which. So we're going to start with A. We're going to see which quadrant it is. And then we're going to say what the coordinate is of that thing. Actually, vice versa. I'm going to do first, quadrant second. So if you're looking at A is this point right here. I want to figure out the coordinate of A. A coordinate goes in two curly brackets with a comma in the middle. The first value is X. That's how far to the left or right your point is gone. The second value is Y. That's how high or low it's gone, up or down. So we'll start with X. Point A, if you're trying to figure it out, away from the origin, which I'm going to draw in bright purple here, it has gone 2 units to the right. And you see now I'm in the same line. So that means it's gone 2 to the right. If the Y value, that's how many up it's gone. It's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's gone 6 units up. And it is in quadrant 1. And we do an I for quadrant 1. We're using Roman numerals. I don't know why we use Roman numerals. That's just the way quadrants are. If we look at B, B is this blue one that I'm putting over here. If I want to figure out the coordinates for it, you want to do X first, Y second. X is how far to the left or right it has gone from the origin. The origin being this purple dot in the middle. It has gone 1, 2, 3, 4 spots to the right. So 4 is my X value. The second coordinate you give it is how far up or how far down it has gone. That's called your Y value. This thing has not gone up or down. So we call that 0. Just means it hasn't moved up or down. When it comes to describing what quadrant it's on, it's actually not in a quadrant. So to be in a quadrant, it has to move off of the lines. This thing has not moved off of the line. That line is called your x-axis. So we would say it's on the x-axis. I'll put it back up in a second. Awesome. I'll do C with you, and then I'm going to let you try a few on your own. C is this one in the bottom left. I'm going to highlight it in green. We're going to call that one C. If I wanted to figure out the coordinates for C, the first thing I'm doing is how far to the left or right it has gone from the origin. The origin being this purple dot in the very center of your Cartesian plane. This point has gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. So that would be -5. Negative tells me it went left. 5 tells me how many spots it. My Y value is how far up or down it's gone. In this case, it has gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units down. So it would be down is negative 7 units. If you're looking at that green one, it's gone negative 5, negative 7, like I said. If we said what quadrant is it in, quadrant 1 is the top right-hand corner. Then you go counterclockwise. So quadrant 2 is the top left-hand corner. Quadrant 3 is the one that C is in. So we would say quad 3. I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to let you guys go off on your own and try this. Oh, quadrant 4 is obviously the next one. It's I, and it's a V. If we look at D, I'm going to highlight in orange. D is this guy right here. If I want to do the coordinate for D, first value is how far left or right. Gone 1, 2, 3 to the right. The second value is how far up or down it's gone. So it went 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, and it went 1, 2, 3 down. Because it's down, it's negative. So we say negative 3. And that thing is in quadrant 4. Like magic. All right, I want you to try E, F, G, H. Write this in. So for E, if you looked at E, this one over here, we do them in red. E was 3 spots to the left from the origin and 2 spots up. So that would be negative 3, 2. It was in quadrant 2. F is right here. It's on the y-axis. Right? That's called the y-axis. It went down 2, but it never went left or right. So if it never went left or right, that's 0, negative 2, because it went down. We say it's on the y-axis. It's not actually in one of the quadrants. If you said it's in quadrant 3 and 4, like that would make sense too, I guess. But we just described it as being on the axis. If you look at G, G is way out here in the bottom right-hand corner. We went how far to the right it went first. It went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right. And it went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's negative 6. We say it's in quadrant 4. The last one is H. It's way up here in the top left. You want to do left, right first. So left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It went 6 to the left. And it went up 6. And we say that's in quadrant 2. Awesome. That is finding the coordinates of a point on a Cartesian plane. You're welcome. You need to be an expert at that skill. Example 2. No, it's just time to mature. Like you're running out of time here. Example 2, I just want you to take those points and plot them on the graph. Do it on your own. I'll do A for you and the rest are all on you. So A is negative 4, 3. Negative 4 is my X. 3 is my Y. X is left, right. Y is up, down. That means I'm 4 to the left, 3 up. 1, 2, 3, 4 left. 1, 2, 3 up. That is point A. I want you to try to find the other points on the graph. Point B is 0, negative 3. 0 means it never went left or right. Negative 3 means it went down negative 3. So I would be right here. Point B. Point C is negative 3, 0. So they've actually just flipped the numbers. That means I went negative 3 left and then didn't go up or down. So it would be over here. That would be point D. Point D -3, -4. So that means I still went -3 to the left, but then I went down 4 from point C. So I'm actually over here. Point G. Point E is 6, 7. 6 means I went 6 to the right. 7 means I went 7 up. So 6 right, 7 up would be right here. It's hard to see. 6 right, 7 up. F is 1 to the right and then 8 down. 1 to the right and 8 down would be right here. That's point. And point G is 0, 0. That's called the origin. It's right in the center of the graph. Fantastic.